Before we get to the major Deshaun Watson trade news, it's worth noting that Watson won't face criminal charges, but there's still 22 active civil suits against him. If those are not settled, then the situation would almost certainly extend into the NFL season. Also, the NFL is conducting its own investigation, which remains a wild card on whether they would suspend him or not. According to The Athletic, the league notified the lawyers on both sides that it would slow its investigation until the criminal investigation was complete. Now that it is complete, the league's investigation is expected to ramp up. Now on to the major trade updates we're going to discuss today. According to Diana Russini of ESPN, the first step for the Saints, Panthers, and Browns in arranging a meeting with quarterback Deshaun Watson was presenting a trade package to the Texans, per multiple league sources. Once Houston approved, only then did they meet. Adam Schefter backed this up by retweeting it and saying on his podcast that the Texans would be very happy with all these teams' packages. So going by that logic, that means the Texans have agreed on a deal with 3 teams to trade Deshaun Watson. Now it seems up to Watson to ultimately make a decision on where he will be playing football next season. The Falcons are meeting with Watson on Wednesday, so going by ESPN's info, that would also mean the Texans have agreed to a deal with Atlanta as well. We've got plenty more details on Watson's relationship with certain teams here, and also leaks on what the trade packages would look like. First off, with the Browns, Josina Anderson said she believes the Browns are doing all they can. They have the pieces to deal. It's understood the immense impact he can have, and ultimately the decision is his. So she pretty much backed up Russini's report on it now being up to Watson. Another notable piece of information comes from Mary Kay Cabot, who said Baker Mayfield won't be headed back home to Texas as part of the trade offer for Deshaun Watson, but he could be dealt even if the trade doesn't happen. A league source says that the Texans want picks and not players, which is a major reason Mayfield isn't part of the Browns package. The Texans are also prepared to start Davis Mills, their 2021 third-round pick out of Stanford, again next season. There have been multiple reports saying the Texans are looking for 3 first-round picks in return for Watson. You have to wonder if the Browns have to sweeten the pot a little more because they're in the AFC and battling for Watson's rights with 3 NFC teams, because it would be in the Texans' best interest to have their ex-franchise quarterback out of the conference. Cabot also mentioned in the report that because the Browns won't include Mayfield in the Texans' deal, they would still have multiple suitors interested in him, including some of the teams that lose out on Watson, which I guess means that the Saints and Panthers are potentially interested in Mayfield as well. The Falcons, I don't think makes much sense with Matt Ryan already there. Mayfield is due just under $19 million this year, which is below average pay for a starting quarterback nowadays. The report also mentions the Colts and Seahawks as potential Mayfield destinations as they look to add a quarterback. It's worth bringing up how Baker Mayfield feels about all this. I know everyone thinks he sucks now, and some of you probably think he deserves to be replaced, but he was playing injured last year and has shown in other years that he's a capable starting quarterback in the league. Yet the Browns pretty much just destroyed any remaining relationship they had with him by doing this. So if Watson doesn't want to go to Cleveland, then they either have to attempt to mend things over with Mayfield, which may no longer be possible, or they have to go searching for a new quarterback themselves. No matter what, this was a big risk for Cleveland and could end up blowing up in their faces if they're left with a miserable quarterback and potentially toxic locker room. Although if you saw the message Mayfield posted on Twitter Tuesday night, then you'd think he's as good as gone. With what's been reported, it seems Mayfield drafted up that message during the exact time that the Browns were meeting with Watson. Next up, we have the Saints, who, along with the Browns, have the best all-around roster on this list to surround Watson with. According to Ian Rappaport, the Saints are in a very good position here, and it seems like based on everything they have to offer, they are in the driver's seat. Nick Underhill, who is one of the best Saints beat reporters, has backed this up by saying there's confidence that things are already headed in this direction. Knowing what we know about the Texans already accepting proposals, That means Watson is currently favoriting the Saints. They met with each other on Monday, and according to Rappaport, New Orleans has met the 3 first-round pick criteria. Underhill speculated the offer to be 3 firsts, a third, and a young offensive lineman. He also said that a lot of things free agency-wise for the Saints relies on Watson's decision, including a potential Teron Armstead return. The Saints have made several moves to get cap positive, and acquiring Watson would mean making more. When discussing the Falcons, the first thing to mention will always be Watson being from Georgia. He was born there, went to high school there, and even became a ball boy for the Falcons when he was younger. Adam Schefter has said that the idea of returning home is something that appeals to Watson. And apparently Watson himself reached out to the Falcons, and Atlanta has shown serious interest in return. Like the Baker Mayfield situation, the Falcons would have a lot of explaining to do with Matt Ryan if they don't land Watson. In fact, this one is even worse because Ryan has given his whole career to that franchise, and he won an MVP with that franchise, as well as taking the organization as far in the playoffs as it's ever been. Schefter has noted that Ryan has a no-trade clause and floated the idea of him being willing to go play for the Colts, sort of like how Phillip Rivers did. The Colts have a great roster, and you'd think they'd certainly be an appealing destination for a veteran quarterback on the move. I'm honestly kind of rooting for Ryan to make his way to a team like the Colts, because it would be nice to see him compete for another Super Bowl. Next up, like the Saints, the Panthers also met with Watson on Monday. This almost feels like we're talking about a high school player meeting with college coaches to make a recruiting decision, but no, this is the NFL with a player that, ironically, isn't even a free agent. The Panthers have also met the 3 first-round pick criteria, which is kind of wild because if you look at their draft picks, then they wouldn't pick until the 4th round this year. But hey, they'd be getting a franchise quarterback back, so that's just the price you gotta pay. And even though Christian McCaffrey has been in trade rumors, apparently the Panthers want to keep him around if they're able to land Watson. They don't have the roster pieces of the Saints or Browns, but owner David Tepper has been rumored to be trying to do all it takes to convince Watson, including letting Watson pick Carolina's next head coach. By the way, Tepper was even reported to have made the trip to meet with Watson himself in person. The team has also done a ton of homework on Watson. I'm assuming that means homework on this scandal. And of course, there's the proximity to where Watson went to college, but I don't know if that would matter much. So that's just about all the information I could round up. Let me know which team you guys think Watson will pick.